Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the ChaddyTheChump channel, and today we are going to be talking about the WBC welterweight world title fight this weekend in Las Vegas. Mario Barrios defending his WBC world title against Ryan Garcia. This is going to be a good one, live on DAZN pay-per-view. It's got a pretty nice undercard as well, with two other world title fights also on it. It's going to be a juicy card, so let's talk about it. So let's talk about the main event first then. Mario Barrios defending his WBC world title against Ryan Garcia. Now the big name here is actually the B-side, Ryan Garcia, who is gunning for that world title and will be in some big fights if he does win it, because he is a star, Ryan Garcia. And Mario Barrios, not as much of a star. He needs someone else, but he is the world champion, so you know, you can't complain. And Mario Barrios, of course, has had some controversial fights as of recently, right? His last two fights were draws. His last one was against Manny Pacquiao, which ended up being a draw, and a lot of people thought Pacquiao won that, which is a bit crazy because a 50-year-old Pacquiao somehow managing to beat Mario is quite the achievement, and he didn't quite do it, and Barrios got away with the draw. And then go all the way back to the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson undercard where he fought Abel Ramos, and that was a draw as well, and I even thought Abel Ramos won that fight. So he has got away with it, and I don't know how he's still holding the world title. It doesn't happen much where you get two draws and he's still the champion. So, of course, controversial fights indeed. But then Ryan Garcia has had some kind of controversial fights. Really, the only controversial one was Devin Haney, but that was big because obviously failed the drug test, and the Devin Haney fight ended up being a no contest, right? And before it was a no contest, he won that fight, right? He fought very well in that fight. However, it was a no contest, and then you go to the Rolly Romero fight in Times Square, and Rolly Romero beat Ryan Garcia. So both of these guys are not on the, massive stature that is a world title, and you can kind of see why this is for the WBC, because Ryan Garcia keeps getting title shots. I don't know how he keeps getting title shots, right? He has not even had to have any warm-up or anything, but it is what it is. It's still a great fight. Ryan Garcia, I guess, would be the favourite, even though he hasn't been looking that good as of recent, but so is Barrios. So my prediction is that Ryan Garcia will defeat Barrios, just because of the fact that Barrios has not been looking great as recent, and I would say doesn't deserve to hold that gold and green belt. Does Ryan Garcia as much as everyone else? I'm not sure, but look, I am going to be rooting for Ryan Garcia, because of course there are big fights coming up for Ryan Garcia if he wins, and the main one is Conor Benn, and it looks like that fight could very well happen. Of course, Conor Benn v Romero is being rumoured. I mean, this welterweight division is so good, and we are getting some amazing fights from it. And if Ryan Garcia wins, we're going to get some huge fights. But that's if he does, and I do think he will. I just think Barrios has not been up to the level that a world champion should be, and he's lucky to still be champion. So Ryan Garcia walks away with the WBC green and gold world title. Now we have a great co-main event on this card. Hitchens defending his IBF super lightweight world title against Oscar Duarte, who has been on a very good run of form as of recent. Of course, Hitchens coming off wins against Liam Parrow and George Kambosos, which are some very, very good wins. And now Hitchens defends again against Duarte. Now, I do think Hitchens will retain again. I think he's on a whole nother level to, these guys. And then the big fights surely have to come. That super lightweight division, consists of Shakur Stevenson. He's in that division. Is that fight going to be made? Who knows, right? Who knows what Shakur's doing right now? He could go all the way up to welterweight or go back down to 135. But Hitchens is an unbelievable fighter, and I just think he's levels past Duarte, and the big fights surely have to come for him. There's Keyshawn Davies in that division, Dalton Smith as well as a world champion, so potentially a unification fight. There are big things coming, and maybe we do get Dalton Smith versus Hitchens. Maybe we get Hitchens coming over to the UK. Who knows? There are so many big fights, and we are going to see much bigger things from Hitchens. But in terms of this fight, he gets the win for me. Another guy who is in that division is the WBA World Champion Gary Russell, who is also defending his title on this card against Andy Hiraoka, undefeated Japanese fighter. Another world title fight. This card is so good. And this fight again is quite close. It was meant to happen on the Jake Paul vs Gervonta Davis card. Obviously it didn't go ahead, so now it is on this card. Both fighters haven't fought for a bit, but Gary Russell's last fight was a win against Jose Valenzuela in March of last year, so this is almost coming on to a full year, and Hiraoka hasn't fought since 2024, so the ring rust will be in play for Hiraoka, and that might be one reason why he loses this fight. But I do just think Gary Russell is a very, very good, skilled fighter, and he will defeat Andy Hiraoka. And again, that super lightweight division is stacked. There is so many opportunities for guys like him to get big fights, especially because he is the WBA World Champion. So potentially we see some unification fights in that division, and that would be very interesting. But yes, that was the three main fights on this ring high stakes card in Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. There's, some other good fights on it as well. Frank Martin's on the undercard. There is some good fights on the undercard, but we're just talking about the main world title fights. And it is Ring Magazine's 7th card. And as I say every time, Ring Magazine cards, they're just so good. They never miss. And I don't think they're going to miss with this one either. Pay-per-view, of course, are included with DAZN Ultimate. I do think it is worth the pay-per-view, as you're paying for 3 great world title fights. And yes, it's a great card back at the T-Mobile Arena on DAZN. I cannot wait, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.